In the fading shadows of World War II, a promise of a brilliant future was being forged in the heart of America's industrial might. Detroit, the Motor City, was humming with a new kind of energy. The war was over, the boys were home, and the nation was ready to move, literally. But amidst the roar of post-war prosperity, a question lingered in the air. Captured in the stark headlines of the day, where was the car of tomorrow? The American economy was booming. People had money to spend, and after years of wartime rationing, they were hungry for new products, especially cars. But the big three automakers, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, were content to serve up warmed-over pre-war designs. They were selling cars as fast as they could make them, so why innovate? Why take a risk? It was a landscape of conformity, a sea of chrome and steel that all looked vaguely the same. The public was dreaming of the future, but Detroit was stuck in the past. Into this world of corporate giants and cautious engineering stepped a man with a vision. His name was Preston Tucker. He wasn't a Detroit insider. He was a salesman, an innovator, a charismatic dreamer from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Tucker saw what the big companies didn't, or perhaps what they chose to ignore. He believed the American people deserved more than just a new coat of paint. They deserved a revolution on wheels. He envisioned a car that was not only stylish and powerful, but also radically safer and more advanced than anything on the road. Preston Tucker wasn't just planning to build a car. He was planning to build the future. And then the world saw it. The Tucker 48, affectionately nicknamed the Tucker Torpedo. It didn't just look different, it was different. Forget the long, conventional hoods of its contemporaries. The Tucker 48 had a sleek, aerodynamic body that sliced through the wind. Its most striking feature was the Cyclops eye, a third headlight in the center of the grille that turned with the steering wheel, illuminating corners before you even entered them. The engine wasn't in the front. It was in the rear, a modified helicopter engine, promising smooth, powerful performance. The car was low, wide, and aggressive. It looked like it had driven straight out of a science fiction magazine. This wasn't just another automobile, it was a statement. A bold declaration that tomorrow had finally arrived. But the Tucker 48 was more than just a pretty face and a clever headlight. Preston Tucker was obsessed with safety, a concept almost alien to the auto industry at the time. The car was built with a perimeter frame for crash protection and a reinforced roof to prevent collapse in a rollover. The interior was a revelation. It featured a padded dashboard to cushion occupants in a collision. The steering box was placed behind the front axle to protect the driver from being impaled. The windshield was designed to pop out in one piece upon impact, preventing shattered glass injuries. These weren't just features. They were life-saving innovations decades ahead of their time. However, turning these brilliant ideas into reality was a monumental task. The team faced countless engineering hurdles. The modified helicopter engine was prone to overheating, and the complex transmission was a constant source of trouble. Each problem solved drained more time and, more importantly, more money from a company that was already walking a financial tightrope. The dream was proving to be an expensive one. To fund this audacious project, Tucker turned to a revolutionary business model. Instead of relying solely on traditional investors, he sold stock and dealership franchises before a single production car was even finished. He also launched an accessories program, allowing eager customers to pre-purchase items like seat covers and radios for a car that didn't yet exist. This raised millions of dollars and generated immense public excitement, but it also attracted unwanted attention. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, began to investigate. They questioned whether Tucker could ever deliver on his promises. Was he a visionary genius or a brilliant con man? The investigation culminated in a highly publicized trial. Tucker and his associates were accused of fraud. In the courtroom, Tucker defended his vision with the same passion he used to sell it. He argued that every penny was spent trying to build his revolutionary car. In the end, the jury agreed. Preston Tucker was acquitted of all charges. He had won his day in court, but the battle was already lost. The negative press from the long investigation had poisoned public opinion and scared off investors. The financial lifeline was cut, production ground to a halt. The massive factory in Chicago, once buzzing with activity and the promise of a new automotive era, fell silent. Eerily empty assembly lines stood as monuments to a dream that had run out of road. The company was forced into bankruptcy, and the Tucker 48, the car of tomorrow, became a relic of what might have been. Only 51 cars were ever completed before the factory gates were locked for good. The fall of the Tucker Corporation was swift and brutal. Yet, the story doesn't end there. The ghost of the Tucker 48 haunts the auto industry to this day. Many of its revolutionary safety features, once dismissed as eccentric, are now standard in every car we drive. Padded dashboards, pop-out windshields, and headlights that illuminate our path around corners are all part of Preston Tucker's legacy. His car proved that safety and innovation weren't just possible. They were essential. Today, the surviving Tucker 48s are among the most prized collector's cars in the world, fetching millions at auction. They are more than just rare automobiles. They are symbols of American ingenuity, a testament to a man who dared to challenge the giants and build his dream, even if it was just for a fleeting moment. Preston Tucker's vision of the car of tomorrow may have died on the factory floor in 1949, but its spirit lives on every road, in every car, every single day. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into automotive history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.